Hi guys, it's Cal from Nerdy Weasel, and today we're back with another installation tutorial video for Skyrim. And today we're covering Perkus Maximus Compatibility and Perkus Maximus patches, also known as PEAP, for Perkus Maximus. And with the release of that by Tendo a few days ago, Rolfin, the patch master, was hard at work at the same time creating the compatibility patches necessary to make Perkus Maximus work well with mods such as immersive weapons, immersive armors, and a whole host of other mods out there that utilize weapons and armors. So today we'll be going over how it all works together, what steps you need to go through to make everything work correctly, and the best ways to get it all accomplished. But before we go to our desktop, let's go in-game and see a little before example of what we'll be looking at. Alright guys, here we are in game, and we're going to take a look real fast at some weapons and armor. Let's go into our items real fast. And we're going to see what happens before and after. So this is the before. You can see we have some items here, and we can just look these over. And these are primarily weapons, and you can see on the armor, this is just my crash test dummy. So you can see I just have some stuff. Alright, take a look at those. And this is where it really gets into the big note. You can see I'm just playing with appearances. So I have these for comparison, and you see the Crimson Archer Cuirass, which is pretty good armor for light. It's armor 36. That's not very much, is it? So we come down to the Imperial Studded Armor, which, as we all know, isn't that great, but it's 103 armor. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Boots and gloves about 10, as opposed to the Imperial stuff. We know this is all pretty crappy stuff, so it's 39. Okay, so you kind of get the idea. We'll come back and we'll look at these in a few minutes after we install everything and see what happens. That's always so much fun doing that. All right, here we are, ready to go. We have Mod Organizer up and ready to go. Let's go down. We're going to take a look at this. Is the old PERMA patch, and this is basically the same setup as what I had when we last did the PERMA tutorial guide. And what we want to do is, since we're looking for PCAP, we will go to the Nexus up here and we will go find it. So let's see, it's actually right up here on the titles page, but if you wanted to search for it, I would just do this. PERMA, and hit search. And there it is, PERMA Compatibility and PaMa patches, PCAP. See? P-C-A-P-P, get it? Hit that and take a look at it here. And of course, Rolfin has it all set up for you, and he is always working on this, and there's new additions and new information on here. And one of the things that he covers is mods covered by patch, and we'll go over and show you how to do that patch. And mods covered by XML, and this is a built-in XML file into his mod that covers all of these different mods. And you can see there's quite a few. Interesting NPCs is already covered. Inigo, my favorite buddy, is already covered. Jace's Swords takes a little bit of work, but you can work on that and get that to work for you. And all sorts of stuff like the Northgard, Ranger Armor, and all these other different mods that are already covered by the XML. And the reason why we need these patches is that they're a little more, involved, and you have to kind of make sure you have the right thing. So what we're going to do is go up to Files, and you can see we are already up to version 1.2 as a collection of patches for Tendo's PERMA. These servers want to be set to Russian. Check the setting before you patch. Link in Sticky how to do so. If you get some weird symbols that look like Russian symbols and letters, check your XML files inside the Explorer, and there's a sticky on the posts on how to do that. How to get rid of the translation table. So you can look that over. Anyways, let's go back to the files. I want to make a note about that. Some guys have been having trouble with it. So what you want to do is PERMA patches and the modders pack. He explains how to do that in the description, and the stickies and the forums if you want to learn about how to do that. It's not just for modders, it's for everybody. So you can read about how to use that, but we're going to focus on the PERMA patches. And we'll hit that download, and it requires Tendo's Perkus Maximus, weapon armor fixes remade with Dawnguard and Dragonborn support. Okay, continue with our download. You know, we've talked about the prerequisites before, and we can go over those again if you like. And basically, it's WAFR, which is Weapon and Armor Fixes Remade, and I have that is right there. Okay, so we already have the prerequisite. We have Tendo's Perkus Maximus right there. So we have both of our prerequisites. If you want a reference on how to set up Weapon Armor Fixes Remade, you can look at my Skyre for Mod Organizer video, and they'll tell you how to set that up. Basically, just download it, go through the PaMa mod, and it's pretty easy to set up. But what we're focused on is the PERMA patches, and you want to double-click that. And it's going to open the foam mod for us. And the XML file, you can read about that. Core XML updates requires the most current version of PERMA. These XMLs expect all 3 PERMA modules to be present. Remember, we did that in Perkus Maximus setup, so you got to have all 3 there. Okay. If you do not plan to use a module or use a non-English language, you will need to edit the general settings in the XML. Okay. So merge patches. We'll come over here, merge patches, and you've got your different options. And you can see that it is a merge ESP. If you use this version, do not select the standalone patch version, and you can go through that. But basically, you have all these different setups. So WAFR would be Weapon and Armor Fixes Remade, Character Creation Overhaul Remade, or is it crafting? I can never get them straight. Anyways, IW means Immersive Weapons. So you have WAFR, Immersive Weapons. So Weapon Armor Fixes Remade, Immersive Weapons. Weapon Armor Fixes CCOR, WAFR, CCOR, IW, BOYD. Look that over. Make sure you have these appropriate mods. And you come down and you see the rest. So merge patches. What we're looking for me, because you know I run with Immersive Weapons and Immersive Armors and uniques. I'll get back to that in a second, but we'll give you a hint. So WAFR and IW, Immersive Weapons and Weapon Armor Fixes Remade. And we come down to the replacement ESPs. And you can see all these different choices. Immersive Armors, replacement ESP for IA 7.1 to adjust material keywords and names of armors. Carries over WAFR object management data, removes auxiliary crafting group, and armors are distributed between other groups. Adds Dawnguard and Dragonborn as masters. Okay? Requires those originals to work. In other words, we need all those mods to actually work this. Okay? So I have Immersive Armors. I'm going to click that. Better Vampires. Okay, it's another replacement ESP. And all these other things, Immersive Armor, Archery's Armor. So whatever you have, make sure you click these. And you come down to standalone patches. Okay. This first one is the Alyss Uncapper Any. If you run the Alyss's Uncapper, Community Uncapper like I do, in that Any, it changes the skill progression and the perk progression. In Skyre, we had an uncapper in the Skyre modules that changed that. PERMA, Ralphin has, in his compatibility patches, has included another uncapper. And you can see it is still work in progress, gives 1 perk per level and a second perk every 4th level, and reduces the skill cap to 100 to respect PERMA intended limit. That means it's changing Alyss's unlimited cap, which is 999, to 100. So just, you know, to make it kind of in line with PERMA. So I want that. I want that extra skill. I'm a skill whore. Weapons, Armor Fixes Remade. Okay, I don't need that because I have it up here. Okay, but if you wanted to run WAFR and not run of these, but you wanted WAFR all by itself, you could do that. Okay, if you wanted Immersive Armors all by itself, you could do that. Complete Crafting Overhaul Remade by itself. There you go. So these are standalones. They aren't connected up here. If you wanted a combination thereof without having all the component parts of a merged patch, you could do one of these standalone patches. Okay. All right. I want the Alyss Uncapper. I run Immersive Armors. And I want the Weapon Armor Fixes Remade with Immersive Weapons. Okay. Got that. Right. And you hit Next. And you hit Acknowledge. And it is installed, and we're going to activate it. Now, Tendo says in that PERMA compatibility and Perkus Maximus patches always wants to be at the bottom here. Okay, so just remember that. Always wants to be at the bottom. Okay, so since that is up and running, we are going to disable that one. We'll go back to our plugin so we can see it. Disable that one. And you can see it's gone off of our load order. And we can get rid of that because we're going to make it a new one here in a few minutes, guys. So we can just remove that one. All right. There we go. Now, I want you to see what they did. So PaMa Wafer IW patches. Okay. Now remember we did immersive armors. Where is it at? Okay. It is around here somewhere. PaMa. Let's do name. IW patches. Okay. So that's actually I'm just thinking funny. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just being strange. I did so many permutations of different options that I kind of forgot what I was doing. So remember we did immersive weapons had its own ESP. If you want to go in here and look at it, you go to optional ESPs. Okay. So it's the PaMa Wafer IW patch ESP. That's in there. And the Hoth Trooper 44 armor compilation at ESP. That has been rolled into the Hoth Trooper 44 armor compilation ESP. Right? So you won't see an extra one. You'll just see that one there. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is leave that there for right now. Just like that. And you could go in and run Perkus Maximus right now and do that. It's not what I'm suggesting. I want you to go through and make a merge patch and a bash patch. Okay. And I could bore you with a long time with these things, but we're just going to run them. So I can explain all these different whys, but we want to run these. So if you run TS5 edit, and you can see we have these all down here. Okay. You want to run this first before running the Perkus Maximus patcher, PaMa. Okay. And just let it do its work. And there's different reasons for that because, you know, Rolfin suggests that we go ahead and run this so that it stabilizes the game a little bit and will actually help with how PEAP works. Okay. So we're going to let this run and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay. So we're done running. You can see background loader is finished, and you can see we have the last one. We have a full list of mods here, and you can see that we're all ready to go. And you come down the bottom, and you're going to right click, and you're going to hit other, and you're going to create a merge patch. This is pretty easy stuff. Yeah, I know. And we are going to call it just merge patch. I mean, I'm not real inventive on these things. We'll just call it merge patch 11.15. Okay. There we go. Merge patch, there it is right there. Backup plugins, yes, okay. And there we go. It's going to show that we have something in our overwrite. So we'll come down and take a look at it. Information, merge patch, just like that. And close it. Right click it again, create mod. Merge patch 11.15. We're in. We activate it. It'll now pop up over here in our merge patch. Okay. So that's just step one. Step two is we're going to do a rybash bash patch. And we're looking to do the level list. So you hit rybash. It's slowly working its way in here. Okay. So as we know before from doing level lists, if it's in green, uncheck it, check it, check it. And you want to put the bash patch above anything that is dynamically created. So in this case, it is the merge patch 11.15. Okay. This is just another patch. Don't worry about that. We're going to do the level list, but you want to have the bash patch above anything that's dynamically created. Right? And we will right click it. And we will build patch. Right? Rebuild patch. And we're going to click those off. We're going to do level lists. So we'll build patch. You can see all the activated mods here. It's quite a list, isn't it? So all of our level lists. Where our level lists go. There's our level list. Relevs, delevs, merged items. All right. We got all this stuff in our level list now, which is quite a bit, right? And the empty sub lists. Don't worry about those. Okay. Hit OK. Activate bash patch 0 ESP. Yeah, want that. Okay. Close it down. We have something else in our override file. Come on. Highlight it. Right click it. Information. Bash patch. There we go. And we're going to create that mod. Uncreative that I am, bash patch 11.15. Hit OK. There we go. Now, I want you to take these, and Rolfen's basically said run the merge patch, then run the bash patch, and then we can run the... Sorry, too much coffee, can't think. Run Perkus Maximus. All right. So we come over to our drop-down menu, and we will run Perkus Maximus. Run it. And as you know, this may take a while, so I'm going to... Where'd it go? There it goes. Oh, I lost it. Woo! I lost it. I thought something went horribly wrong. It just hit it. So we're going to let this do its work, and we'll be back in... It ran 6 minutes last time. It's, you can see it's 7:56 down the bottom right there. We'll run this and come back in 6 or 7 minutes and see what happens. All right, we're coming to the end here, guys. Let's see what we got. All right, it says there's something in our overwrite. Let's go see. It's very exciting. You never know what you're going to get. Overwrite, right click, information, Perkus Maximus, ESP, SkyProg patches. Okay, that is what we want. Create mod. Call it PaMa. I'm going to have to abbreviate some of these eventually. 11.15. Click it. There we go. You see it's now down here in our load order. Oop, gotta click and move it. Doesn't affect anything. So we're good with that. So this is our present load order. Okay, we're going to go back and take a look at the frequently asked questions under the forums tab on Rolfen's PCAP page. Come down to facts, and you can see a suggested load order. All right, and I want you to take a quick look at this real fast. Down here at the bottom, merge patch, bash patch. If you're running any of these go ahead of it. Then Perkus Maximus at the bottom. Right? You look at these up here, master, winner, mismanaged, blah, blah, blah. And then your armor's above it. Okay? The pre-PaMa wafer patch, you notice it doesn't say IW there. This is up here. Don't get confused by that. Just remember that if you run the standalone patch, the PaMa IW patch, it needs to be after immersive weapons. All right? If you run the wafer patch, it needs to be after weapon and armor fixes. So if we go back to Mod Organizer and you hover over the pre-PaMa thing, you see you have enabled mastered Dawn Guard, Dragonborn, immersive weapons, Perkus Maximus Master, Skyrim ESM, Update ESM. So as long as this is below the Perkus Maximus and the immersive weapons, which is up here, this is still kind of my remnants of my Skyrim load order. Okay, you have these. So you're good to go. So like I said, bash patch, whoopsie, we got bash patch. We got to put the merge patch above the bash patch. See, it almost threw me off. You gotta watch Mod Organizer. Sometimes they do these things. It's correct over here, but to kind of move them around, you could lock these in. Lock. 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 So they're always at the bottom. Okay. Now, you notice the difference between Skyrim and PERMA. I mentioned unique uniques. And before, you had its own thing to do inside of the Repocker patches, SCARP. You don't have to do that anymore. Unique uniques is now handled completely by PERMA. You don't have to worry about it. So you can have unique uniques right there. Right? It's not handled. It's not covered by anything. It's not changed by any of this stuff. It's just leveled by the PERMA. It's all handled. You don't need to worry about it. So there you go. And there you go. So we are all set on this. You can see that the PaMa compatibility and PaMa patches. We go under conflicts. It's changing Perkus Maximus, the community's Skyrim community on Capper. We talked about that, and immersive armors. So it made the changes. Very good. And you can see all these different masters. You can actually come down and look at Perkus Maximus. All these are now enabled masters. Remember we talked about in the first video what it likes and what it don't like? Well, you never know. So sometimes just look over this stuff and you'll find that it works pretty well. All right? So that's done, right? I think so. Let's go into SKSE and we'll take a look at what those armors did, another live test. And you never know what you might find. All right, so here we go. Find out if it worked. Continue last save. All right, we're back to Fiona. Hi, Fiona. Let's just open up our items and take a look at what we got here. So, Hanziel arrows. Better, about the same actually. So, this short bow. Remember, short bows do less damage than long bows. That's why a better bow overall does less damage than a long bow. Don't worry about that too much. Okay. Staff Familiar doesn't do anything. So we come over to armors. Remember we had an issue with Imperial studded armor being 103, but Crimson Archer Cuirass was 35. Now it's 124. It worked. So all that's done. And you can see the boots have been adjusted. The bracers and helmet have been adjusted. But remember, before when we did Skyrie and the Reprocker patches, it changed the weapons. It doesn't do that anymore because the PERMA patcher, or I get so confused with names. The PERMA patcher, PaMa, Perkus Maximus, handles that for you now. So you don't have to worry about it. And you may be wondering, what was the whole point of that? Well, it renames them inside of the file so it's more easily recognized and you don't have duplicates. There are still a few duplicates out there, and you may run into a few of them. Ralphin is working diligently so you don't have these many duplicates when you're crafting. Don't worry about it. It's just something he's working on, and he told me that he may have to redo it. Scrap the plan and go with something else. So don't worry about these damages. They are correct, and these have been changed. So everything worked. Okay. Now you're not going to see all these effects, but you get the idea. So let's just close this down. Whew. Okay. So I love it when stuff works. And let's go back to Mod Organizer real fast. See if there's anything that I wanted to point out to you guys before I go. I think that's it. Everything is checked. All the boxes are checked. I notice sometimes that in the process of doing this, one of these boxes, most likely Hoth Trooper 44, while you're trying to get this all to work, will be unclicked. And you'll get a message for that. Just be sure of that. And there you go. We talked about the load order for these. We talked about Rolfin's suggested load order. So if you find any problems, let us know, and we will definitely look into it. Rolfin is always making changes. Like you said, it's only been out 3 days, and he's up to version 1.02. So always changing, always improving. Look at new stuff. He's always adding new things to make it's now PCAP. I was about to say SCAR. PCAP improved. So we're going to go ahead and call it here. In episode 3, we're going to go through a few things that will help improve your game and maybe even cover defluffing and magic. I said I might do that in the first episode, but I think this is a good stopping point right here. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this episode and found it informative. My name is Cal. I'm from Dirty Weasel, and I'm signing off.
I took an arrow. I took an arrow.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
Then I took an arrow again.